Welcome to the bold analysis. Professor Kadenyi once told us in a communication class that there is nothing in the news context as fake news. There is only something called cooked news. So every news, there is nothing like fake. It's just that sometimes news is cooked. What I'm talking about today on Tuesday, the social media was awash with this post, and you can see the image here. And there was actually a report that President William Ruto had bought an expensive aircraft for personal use. Most of those who shared the photos of the jet said that the head of state, President Ruto, had acquired a 6.5 billion jet to facilitate his movement. However, this is coming at a point when the country is talking about the expenditure, but the politics of choppers in President William Ruto's administration has been brewing for quite some time. I remember last year, the police really complained that one of the choppers that was to be used, aircrafts, that was to be used for security operations was actually handed over to the office of Rigathi Gachagua for use against the wish, or rather the permission, of those in the security sector. And there have been a bit of a very big push and pull between the big offices on which jet to be used by who. So the jet politics, when I saw those rumors and when I saw that information coming out, it really got my attention. And I want to get into it because I've just read a fact-check report saying a source close to President William Ruto dispelled the claims, noting that they had seen the social media claims and gave them a wide berth since they were false and misleading. And of course, when you do a Google reverse image, you will find more about the aircraft that was shared. However, I decided to look at it at a different perspective. And when you dig deep, you realize the jet that the presidential jet that Ruto uses, which is known as Fokker 70, is a medium-range twin-engine jet airliner. It was acquired by Kenyan government in 1997, and it is used to transport President of Kenya and other high-ranking government officials. What does that mean? This one jet has been used by Moi towards the end of his tenure, Mwai Kibaki for the 10 years he was in power, Uhuru Kenyatta for the 10 years he was in power, and then William Ruto. And I want to be very specific here. While there are no really clear information coming out about whether this was true or false, but you can try to put it into a context. The first context you must put this report in is that UDA administration has been on a spree of changing things. In State House, immediately they got in, there was renovations, and there were reports that some furnitures were not the texture, or rather the taste of William Ruto, and they had to be changed. You saw the State House cabro was also changed, and it was actually replaced by a tarmac. And this cascaded amongst even in other offices. So it is not something new. That's what I'm saying. It is not something shocking. And I don't want to be myopic and narrow-minded that such reports come off the moon. They don't just come from nowhere. There is a gesture that is coming into it. And someone says that this is what normally happens in everything. Sometimes before every decision is made, of course there is that which is testing the waters to know what's happening. The information has not been substantiated by the relevant authorities, but you cannot underestimate the fact that the president might consider changing it, since the machine that we've been using has been was actually used since 1997. So if you do your calculations, then that is 26 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to try to interrogate further this report by one variance, that there is nothing like fake news. Sometimes news is cooked. Those are the words of Professor Kadeni. And news sometimes is cooked. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also watch our videos. I want to just a sidebar, a side chat on this podcast. What is your honest opinion, and how would you unpack the recent visit by the Russian envoy in this country? I'm going to look at that in my next podcast, but I want to sample your feedback here in this video. I'm going to do that video in the next 2 hours. So those who are going to watch this podcast in the next 2 hours, I want to read the first few comments. What's your position in it? It's just a sidebar. I'm just so interested, and also knowing what you guys think, because I want us to look at it critically. And so, there is a context into that which is happening. It is not coming out of the moon. And from where I'm seated here, there is a big likelihood that there could be a mooted plan somewhere to replace this machine. And maybe that is the information that leaked within the corridors. You know, there have been pilferage of information. It is likely, I know for now, the ground of dismissing it is because it's a non-priority in the light of the budget discussion going on. But follow a lot of, if you read newspapers and really follow a lot of developments, you realize that there is a shortage of that. That is why the office of the deputy president had to take an aircraft from the police sector, police department, so that it was improvised. And I remember a long talk about the aircraft that was improvised for the VIP used by the deputy president was actually well and fully equipped by security equipments, and huge cameras and very sophisticated equipments. So, and I think, I'm not just sure which one Mudavadi uses, but there is a question of aircrafts. And for quite so long, government officials normally use private means, which is very expensive. Very expensive. But I think cost per hour goes to around 250,000. So for to use a chopper in a day, it's normally very expensive. So from what I'm thinking, this could have, it is high likelihood, maybe not now, but it is something cooking in the background. Some people are already thinking, do we need to change this machine that William Ruto is using? Why not? This is something that is very possible. Now, the one other story that is related to it, and that's why I also want to speak about, is in the budget, there is a sharp criticism that the finance bill is receiving because of scrapping 16% VAT tax that has been scrapped from the cost from importing choppers. So those who are importing choppers, the 16% VAT has been scrapped. Maybe it's a window that is going to be used to allow, rather to increase the presence of choppers here. I think people are going to then maybe afford. How many people are affording it? It's also opening our aviation industry, I think, if you look at it. And the intention could be they've realized that the aviation space is inhabited by some few players, And when you can reduce the cost of bringing in the choppers, then maybe you can give a window to introduce more players, and with competition, maybe the costs will go down. So this will be a big man thing that is happening. The focal point, and this is what should worry the president, that if people are already talking somewhere, cooking, let's take it, cooking stories about a plan to buy a chopper, then the focal point of the country is the worry about expenditure. That news is just bringing sharp focus. It's a wake-up call on expenditure. That is what the country is talking about. We know that we might give up our fates, can give up our fate to the UDA MPs because they have majority, they can do whatever they like, whether we make noise, we say anything, and they can pass it. But at least what the people behind this information are actually looking at is they're simply asking, what about the expenditure? Do we have our priorities? Are we taking the housing levy? Do we have such schemes behind the scenes, behind as some of the reasons behind the bloated budget? It's a very critical information. Now, I need to make a very clear information that the UDA has denied. They have denied that there is nothing like that. President might have a private might have private life on this, but they have actually said that this is out of it. They're saying Hustler is busy shopping for himself a new bird, where lipa ushuru ndugu. The president can't continue flying in a 27-year-old aircraft. That's like traveling in a box matatu. The current presidential, this is what this information is saying. The current presidential aircraft, the Dutch-built Fokker 7, was brought by President in Moi in 1995. Can fly for a range of non-stop. Yeah. Now, this is part of what is it. And I think what UDA must then agree is they must put up a very competent communication team to dispel. I don't understand why certain information will come out and they say we ignored it because we knew that it was neither here nor there. But before the end of the day, it has gotten itself into the tabloids and Kenyans are consuming it. I normally say, and the reason why I normally pay attention to those news that are regarded as fake news is because how many people are fact checkers, ladies and gentlemen? How many people are fact checkers? How many professionals? And with the current social media space, you'll realize that the demographics of those who are consuming such news, probably, I think let's just take Facebook. You realize that most of them are just young people, and I know people who are even more learned, but because they cannot fact check, they take it. And because information, once you receive it, in terms of decoding, many other factors comes to play, including even the environment, including even your health, including even your feelings. So sometimes information might come out because it's made fake, but then it's around. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my truth about this jet story. And I finish by sharing with you a video of supporting one of our own here, Oak Cuisine. They're doing amazing food here around Donham. So check out and put their contacts there and let's support each other. That is the spirit of making sure that we grow as a family. Thank you.
Amagi.
Welcome guys to the bold. So my name is Kevin, as you know. I'm in Donham in a place hotel the Oak Cuisine. So the Oak Cuisine is a hotel that is owned by one of our members of this channel here, and I'm here to promote, very interesting. So I need to take time to sample for you what's around. This is fish, fresh tilapia from the lake. This one goes at 450. Then on this is half of this, goes at 250. So it's the same. Then this is one of the best. It's called Athola. This is Athola. Athola is nyama ambayo imechomwa, alafu ikishachomwa inakuwa boiled. So it's a bit of an amazing one. For those people who know Akoda, you need to come here and sample. The other end is Muta. Now, this one ought to be hapa mbele yangu because this is my best, and kwa hii meza yote yangu ni hii Muta. For those people who know Muta is hii ainanga mfupa, by the way. You will really struggle to get mfupa around this place. So what am I saying? You need to come here and promote this lady. She's doing amazing food here, and you don't need to worry because I'm going to pin her number so that if you're within Nairobi, so long as you're within Nairobi and you feel like you want to, what an amazing place. Make sure you contact her and she's going to deliver to you, of course, at a fee. So that you make sure that you do an amazing. So guys, I want to see how we can support those who are members of the board and you are in Donholm and Umoja and its environs. Make sure you come here. Kayole, yes. Make sure you come here and promote this business. But now Mimi, I think really too many cool.
I have not finished all.
Like can you two. So
you can ignore it.
I can ignore pork.
Yeah.
Sawa. Mtu anataka pork bwana. Pork si ananunua kwa bucha.